shaders that include subsurface scattering that make skin look more skin-like. And so game developers are looking for more and more and more tools to express their art. And
to it. But yeah, people really love it really brought a lot of joy to a lot of people. The hardware really brings these worlds to life. There was some controversy around this with DLSS 5.
Yeah.
Can you explain to me the drama around this? I guess gamers online were concerned that it makes games look like AI slop.
Yeah.
What do you think of this drama?
Yeah. I think their perspective makes sense, and I could see where they're coming from, because I don't love AI slop myself. All of the AI generated content increasingly looks similar, and they're all beautiful, and I'm empathetic towards what they're thinking. That's just not what DLSS 5 is trying to do. I showed several examples of it, but DLSS 5 is 3D conditioned, 3D guided. It's ground truth, structured data guided. And so the artist determined the geometry. We are completely truthful to the geometry, maintained so in every single frame. It's conditioned by the textures, the artistry of the artist. And so every single frame, it enhances, but it doesn't change anything. Now, the question about enhancing, DLSS 5 also lets, because the system is open, you could train your own models to determine, and you could even in the future prompt it, I want it to be a toon shader. I want it to look like this kind of, so you can give it even an example, and it would generate in the style of that, all consistent with the artistry, the style, the intent of the artist. And so all of that is done for the artist so that they can create something that is more beautiful, but still in the style that they want. I think that they got the impression that the games are going to come out the way the games are, shipped the way they do, and then we're going to post-process it. That's not what DLSS is intended to do. DLSS is integrated with the artist. And so it's about giving the artist the tool of AI, the tool of generative AI. They could decide not to use it,
I think people are very sensitive to human faces.
Yeah.
And we're now living in this moment, which I think is a beautiful one, which is people are sensitive to AI slop.
Yeah.
It puts a mirror to ourselves to help us realize that what we seek is imperfections. What we seek is sometimes not perfect graphics. It helps us understand what we find compelling in the worlds we create.
Mm-hmm.
And that's beautiful. And as long as it's tools that help us create those worlds.
Yeah, that's right.
It's
that's
wonderful.
Right. It's yet another tool. And they want the generative models to generate the opposite of photoreal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll do that too. And so it's just yet another tool. I think the gamers might also appreciate that in the last couple of years, we introduced skin shaders to the game developers. And many of those games have skin shaders that include subsurface scattering that make skin look more skin-like. And so game developers are looking for more and more and more tools to express their art. And so this is just one more tool. They could decide what to use.
Ridiculous question. What do you think is the greatest or most influential game ever made? Maybe from NVIDIA's perspective.
Doom,
unquestionably. That was the start of the 3D.
I would say Doom from the intersection of the cultural implication as well as the industry, turning a PC into a gaming device. That was a very important moment. Now, of course, flight simulation companies were before it, and but they just didn't have the popularity that Doom did to have made the industry turn the PC from a office automation tool into a personal computer for families and gamers and things like that. And so Doom was really impactful there. From an actual game technology perspective, I would say Virtua Fighter. And so we're great friends with both of them, And
then there's games more recently. I mean, Cyberpunk 2077 really nice GPU accelerated graphics, like
Fully ray traced.
fully ray
Yeah.
traced. Also, I personally, I'm a huge fan of Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, and it's been released a long, long time ago, but people release mods and
We
they
love
create
mods.
I mean, it's like a different game, and it just allows me to replay the game over and over, and it makes you realize that you can re-experience in a totally new way the world you already love.
Yeah,
So I
that's
do
right.
that all the time. One of my favorite things is just walk around Skyrim.
We created this thing called RTX Mod.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's a modding tool, and
Awesome.
it allows the community to inject the latest technology into an old game.
Of course, like what makes a great video game is not just graphics, it's also story and character development, but
That's right.
beautiful graphics can add to the immersion, the feeling like it's another place that you're transported to. You said, I think accurately, that the AGI timeline question rests on your definition of AGI. So let me ask you about possible timelines here. This ridiculous definition perhaps of what AGI is, but an AI system that's able to essentially do your job. So run, no, start, grow, and run a successful technology company that's worth
A good one or a one?
no, it has to be worth more than a billion, more than $1 billion. So you know how hard it is to do all of those components. So how far are we away from that? So we're talking about OpenClaw that does all the incredibly complex stuff that are required to first of all innovate, to find customers, to sell to them, to manage to build a team of some agents, some humans, all that kind of stuff. Is this 5, 10, 15, 20 years away?
I think it's now. I think we've achieved AGI.
You think you can have a company run by an AI system like this?
Possible. And the reason for that is this: you said a billion, and you didn't say forever. And so, for example, uh, it is not out of the question that a claw was able to create a web service, some interesting little app that all of a sudden, you know, a few billion people used for 50 cents. And then it went out of business again shortly after. Now, we saw a whole bunch of those type of companies during the internet era, and most of those websites were not anything more sophisticated than what OpenClaw could generate today.
Interesting. Achieve virality and monetize that virality.
Yeah. It's just that I don't know what it is, but I couldn't have predicted any of those companies at the time either.